Welcome everyone. In this lecture, we will discuss statistical treatment and data analysis, one of the most critical components of quantitative research. This topic is essential for writing your thesis or research paper. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify appropriate statistical tools, understand how data are analyzed, and interpret statistical results correctly. These learning objectives serve as our roadmap. By the end of this lecture, you should not only memorize statistical terms but also understand when and why each statistical tool is used. Statistical treatment refers to the process of analyzing collected data using statistical methods. After data collection, raw data alone do not answer research questions. Statistical treatment transforms numbers into meaningful findings that support conclusions. In simple terms, statistics give meaning to data. Data analysis is the broader process where statistical treatment is applied. It includes organizing data into tables, computing values, interpreting results, and finally deciding what the findings mean in relation to the research problem. Statistical treatment and data analysis are often used interchangeably, but technically, statistical treatment is part of data analysis. Statistical treatment is used in research to make data easy to understand. When researchers collect data, they usually have many numbers. Statistical treatment helps organize those numbers so they make sense. First, statistical treatment is used to summarize data. Instead of listing all answers, statistics group the data using percentages and averages. This helps readers quickly understand the results. Second, it helps us see patterns and trends. Statistics show if scores are high or low, if they increase or decrease, or if values are similar or different. This makes it easier to see what is happening in the data. Third, statistical treatment is used to test research hypotheses. Statistics help researchers decide if the results happened by chance or if there is a real difference or relationship. This is important in quantitative research. Fourth, statistics support research conclusions. Researchers do not rely on opinions. They use numbers to prove their findings. This makes the study scientific and credible. Lastly, statistical treatment reduces bias. Using statistical tools helps prevent personal opinions from affecting the results. This ensures that conclusions are fair and accurate. In simple terms, statistical treatment helps researchers understand data, prove results, and make correct conclusions. Statistics are generally divided into two main types: descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. These two types are used for different purposes in research, and understanding the difference helps make data analysis easier. Descriptive statistics are used to describe and summarize data. They show what the data look like. For example, descriptive statistics can show the age of respondents, the average score, or the percentage of participants in each group. They only describe the data collected and do not make conclusions beyond it. Inferential statistics, on the other hand, are used to make conclusions and decisions. They help researchers determine whether there is a difference or relationship between variables. Inferential statistics allow researchers to make conclusions about a larger group based on the data collected from a sample. In simple terms, descriptive statistics describe the data, while inferential statistics help draw conclusions. Both types are important and are commonly used together in research studies. Let us now focus on descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics are used to describe and summarize the data collected in a study. These statistics help us understand the basic characteristics of the respondents or variables. For example, they can describe the age of participants, their gender, their scores, or their responses to a survey. Descriptive statistics do not compare groups and do not predict outcomes. They simply present the data as they are. The goal is not to make decisions or conclusions, but to clearly show what the data look like. When using descriptive statistics, we are answering a very simple question: what does the data show? In research, descriptive statistics are usually presented in the form of tables, charts, percentages, and averages to make the results easy to understand. Now let us look at the common tools used in descriptive statistics. These tools help researchers summarize and present data in a clear and organized way. Frequency tells us how many times a response or value appears. For example, it shows how many students answered yes or no in a survey. Percentage shows how large a part of the whole a group represents. It helps us compare data easily, such as saying 50% of respondents are female. Mean is the average value. It is computed by adding all the values and dividing by the total number of observations. The mean is commonly used when data are numerical. Median is the middle value when data are arranged from lowest to highest. It is useful when data have very high or very low values that may affect the average. Mode is the value that appears most often in a dataset. It is especially useful for identifying the most common response. Standard deviation shows how spread out the data are from the mean. A small standard deviation means the data are close to the average, while a large one means the data are more spread out. All these tools help researchers describe the data clearly and accurately. Let us now discuss measures of central tendency. These are statistics that tell us the center or typical value of a group of data. The mean is the average. It is computed by adding all the values and dividing by the total number of values. The mean is commonly used when the data are evenly distributed. The median is the middle value when the data are arranged from lowest to highest. It is useful when there are very high or very low values that might affect the average. The mode is the value that appears most frequently in the dataset. It is useful when identifying the most common response, especially in survey data. These three measures help researchers understand what value best represents the data. Now let us move to measures of variability. These statistics tell us how spread out or scattered the data values are. The range is the difference between the highest and lowest values in a dataset. It gives a quick idea of how wide the data values are. Variance measures how far each value is from the mean, but it is mostly used in more advanced statistical analysis. Standard deviation is the most commonly used measure of variability. It tells us how far the values are from the average. When the standard deviation is small, the values are close to the mean. When it is large, the values are more spread out. Measures of variability help researchers understand whether data values are consistent or varied. Now let us talk about inferential statistics. Inferential statistics are used when researchers want to make conclusions or decisions based on the data they collected. Unlike descriptive statistics, inferential statistics do not only describe data. They help determine whether there is a difference, relationship, or effect between variables. Inferential statistics are usually applied to sample data. The results from the sample are then used to make conclusions about a larger group or population. For example, inferential statistics can help answer questions like, is there a difference between two groups? Is there a relationship between two variables? These statistics help researchers decide whether the results are meaningful or happened by chance. In inferential statistics, different statistical tests are used depending on the research question. Each test has a specific purpose. A t-test is used to compare two groups. It helps determine if there is a significant difference between two sets of data, such as scores before and after an intervention. ANOVA, which stands for Analysis of Variance, is used to compare three or more groups. Instead of comparing groups one by one, ANOVA compares all groups at the same time. Pearson R is used to determine the relationship between two variables. It shows whether variables increase or decrease together, or if no relationship exists. Chi-square is used to determine the association between categorical variables. It is commonly used for data that are in categories, such as gender or yes or no responses. Regression is used when the researcher wants to predict outcomes. It helps explain how one variable can influence or predict another variable. Choosing the correct statistical test is important because using the wrong test can lead to incorrect conclusions. Before choosing a statistical test, researchers must first identify the level of measurement of their data. The level of measurement tells us what type of data we are dealing with. Nominal data are used for naming or labeling categories. There is no order or ranking. Examples include gender, blood type, or marital status. Ordinal data show order or ranking, but the distance between ranks is not equal. Examples include satisfaction levels such as poor, fair, good, or excellent. Interval data have equal intervals between values, but no true zero. A common example is temperature measured in Celsius or Fahrenheit. Ratio data are similar to interval data but have a true 0 point. Examples include age, weight, height, and number of children. Identifying the correct level of measurement helps researchers select the appropriate statistical tool. Data analysis follows a step-by-step process to ensure accurate and reliable results. Each step is important and should not be skipped. The first step is data cleaning. This involves checking the data for errors, missing values, or incorrect entries. Cleaning ensures that only accurate data are analyzed. The second step is coding and tabulation. Responses are converted into numerical codes and organized into tables. This makes the data ready for statistical analysis. The third step is statistical computation. This is where statistical tools, such as mean or t-test, are applied to analyze the data. The fourth step is interpretation. The researcher explains what the results mean in relation to the research questions or hypotheses. The final step is presentation. Results are presented using tables, graphs, and written explanations to make them easy to understand. After analyzing the data, the next important step is interpreting the statistical results. This means explaining what the numbers actually tell us. One important value to look at is the p-value. The p-value tells us whether the result is likely due to chance or not. The level of significance is usually set at 0.05. This value serves as the basis for decision-making. If the p-value is less than or equal to 0.05, the result is considered statistically significant. This means there is enough evidence to say that the result is real and not due to chance. If the p-value is greater than 0.05, the result is not statistically significant. This means there is not enough evidence to support a difference or relationship. Based on this, the researcher makes a decision on the hypothesis. A significant result leads to rejecting the null hypothesis, while a non-significant result leads to accepting it. Interpreting results helps researchers explain whether their study supports the research questions or not. Now let us talk about where statistical treatment appears in a research paper. Statistical treatment of data is usually written in the methodology section. This part explains how the collected data were analyzed. It tells the reader what statistical tools were used to answer the research questions. The statistical treatment is written in sentence or paragraph form, not in computation steps. Researchers simply explain the methods used, not the actual calculations. For example, the researcher may state that frequencies and percentages were used to describe the respondents, while inferential statistics were used to test differences or relationships. Writing the statistical treatment clearly helps readers understand how the results were obtained and ensures transparency in the research process. Let us now apply what we have learned through practice questions. These questions will help you check your understanding of statistical treatment and data analysis. Question 1. Which statistical tool is best used to determine the relationship between two continuous variables? Correct answer. C. Pearson R measures the strength and direction of relationship between two continuous variables. The correct answer. Letter C. Mean. The mean is obtained by adding all values and dividing by the number of observations. Next, question number 3. A researcher wants to compare the test scores of 3 different groups. Which test should be used? The correct answer. Letter D. ANOVA. ANOVA is used to compare 3 or more group means. Question 4. What does a p-value less than 0.05 indicate? Correct answer. Letter C. Results are statistically significant. A p-value is less than or equal to 0.05 indicates statistical significance, leading to rejection of the null hypothesis. Last question number 5. Which type of statistics allows generalization from sample to population? The correct answer is letter B. Inferential. Inferential statistics are used to draw conclusions beyond the sample studied. This concludes our lecture on statistical treatment and data analysis. Always remember that statistics are not just numbers, they are tools for evidence-based decision-making. If you found this lesson helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to NurseNextStation. See you in our next research lecture.